caution you that you have to know the science of scalp and hair. Although it may seem easy to monetize, we can't go after it just because we're chasing porn. We have to go after it because we really understand the depths of what this science is saying, what's happening, what's being unraveled, because it's not just scalp care. It's not just detoxing, exfoliating the scalp. There's so much more that the scalp is revealing to us. And if you don't understand the intricacies of a microscopic analysis, then you're missing the whole point. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do a scalp detox, but there's so much more when you look at the landscape of the scalp that needs to be interpreted, that is a window into one's health. And all of that is missed if you bypass the trichological experience to go to a scalp spa and you never encounter a beauty professional who is well versed in all areas of cosmetology and trichology alike.
Good evening, you guys. How's everybody doing on this Tuesday? Welcome to BTC Live, yet another Transformation Tuesday. I am your girl, Kai Smith, also known as your hair loss advocate and the founder of the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases, where we certify beauty professionals to become functional trichologists. I'm also the creator of our signature 5-day Intro to Trichology program, Identifying Hair Loss Behind the Chair, that we host quarterly here in Houston, Texas. I am an author. I am also the owner and operator of Hair Loss Management Center of Houston, where I operate a virtual hair loss clinic. I am a business coach to beauty professionals, a mother, a wife, and a lover of God and all things. Now, tonight, I'm solo bolo in this thing with y'all tonight. No guests, just some raw conversation and education to stimulate your mind as a beauty professional, as we always do in this space. I'm doing things a little bit differently tonight, kind of going back to my roots and how I started off in the social media space with hardcore education, because I feel like it is so needed and it is undervalued. And we're trying to do things in the space of beauty as experts, yet we're not showing up as experts, which is kind of leaving our reputation in the balance. So I want to kind of redo a reset so that we can educate, empower, and elevate you as beauty professionals. And even if you're not a beauty professional and you are a novice woman who is seeking to care for her own hair or to care for a family member's hair, this is the space for you, because we will teach you a few things about how to approach hair care, how to approach hair loss, how to select a hair loss expert that will be able to help you if you're looking for prevention or if you're looking for recovery. Whatever it is, beauty, health, and wellness, we are here to support the beauty professionals as well as the consumer. Tonight's topic, from expert to overlooked: why beauty pros are losing influence. This topic is near and dear to me because I am real big on professionalism. I am real big on customer care and concern. And I am an advocate for people who are in the space of losing their hair. And from my perspective, a lot of beauty professionals are at the hands of this hair loss. Whether they started it or not, they're exacerbating it. So either you started it with your poor hair care practices and things that you're doing, or you're exacerbating it because you don't really understand what it takes for real hair loss recovery. And so I want to talk about these things. I want to talk about how can we redeem ourselves as the authority and the expert behind the chair. What does that look like? Right? So listen, I want you guys to share this broadcast out, because sharing is caring, and someone needs to know this information. If you find it valuable, you know someone else will find it valuable. But if it's something that, you don't think you need, share it, because someone else may need it. But I guarantee at any level that you're operating on as a beauty professional, you can utilize some of this information. So share this out on your social media platforms with your beauty besties or with anybody else that's in your social media community. I'm going to say good evening to Miss Meta. Meta is the reason why I actually called this Transformation Tuesday. Meta is a huge supporter of the Kai Smith tribe, and I greatly appreciate you, Meta, for always showing up every single Tuesday, even though you're in a completely different time zone in South America. So thank you so much. I see you, Philanda. I see you, Jamie, Ebony, Ujima. I see all of y'all in this space. So thank you guys for continuing to come in, join us live. I think what I'm getting ready to do, something that I don't typically do, you see me looking away, because I think I'm getting ready to actually share this out and go live on my Instagram platform, which is something that I don't typically do simultaneously. But tonight I'm feeling a little spontaneous. So I'm going to share this out. So excuse me for looking away for just a minute, but I want to get as many people under the sound of my voice as possible, whether it is live or on the replay. Whichever way I meet you, thank you for coming in and grabbing a word or two and utilizing it however you can. So let me stream myself real quickly. We're just going to set it right here for the peoples. Go right here. Y'all feeling a little theme music in the background? Because I am. All right. So we're live on Instagram as well. So welcome to everybody that's over here on Instagram. And we're getting ready to jump into this conversation. So let's talk about it, you guys. Hey, Betsy, Miss Trico B. So I really want, you're going to see me looking away because I have my notes here and to make sure that I don't miss anything, because like I said, this is a little bit different. This is just not me coming on and having a conversation with you all. This is actually me coming on with the intention to educate the public, okay, about some things that are going on and some things that need to stop, some things that need to start, right? So we're going to talk about the hard truths behind the decline in the respect for beauty professionals and learn how we can reclaim our authority. That's what this conversation is about. So let's discuss setting the tone. There's just some things that I consistently see about things that I see happening in the beauty industry overall. I think we can all agree that there's just some things that are happening that just should not happen, that are very, very unprofessional. I'm not even talking about the unlicensed, because I don't even consider them a threat. I don't consider them in the space of anything that I do as a licensed professional. So this conversation is not talking about the unlicensed professional. I'm more concerned with the licensed professional that is showing up like an unlicensed professional. You heard me? I'm more concerned with the licensed professional that has behaviors and traits of an unlicensed professional. I can give the unlicensed professional a pass because they don't have the knowledge and education nor the licensing through the state that qualifies us to be who we are, that qualifies us to touch people, right? So we don't even need to have a conversation about the unlicensed. That goes without saying, right? And so let's talk about some of the things that we need to get back to. And it's just really about getting back to the basics of why you started. Why did you even start as a beauty professional? Did you want to make a difference in the space? What was happening? What made you say, I want to be licensed to touch people? What made you say, I really want to be a creative? What made you say that? So let me hear from the audience tonight, both on Facebook and on Instagram. Licensed professionals, what made you decide that you wanted to become licensed? What made you decide that you actually wanted to touch people for a living and that you wanted to serve? Because I really think that we've gotten away from the servitude that comes with our industry. We signed up for a service-based industry, yet all of the rules and regulations and guidelines that I see being executed in businesses basically puts up a wall and makes it very difficult for people to do business with you as a beauty professional. Let's see. B says, I wanted to make a difference for my peers and service. So, okay. Now, a lot of what I'm seeing in the space of beauty has so many different rules. I'll make you want to get a license, Kevin. It is, it is disgusting to me to see some of the things that I see placed as rules and how we want to hold the client so accountable for their actions, yet we have no regard for our own actions or anyone else for that matter. So that's one thing that we need to get away from. We need to get away from setting rules that we can't even adhere to, right? Making it very difficult. We've automated ourselves so much that it makes it difficult to get a person on the line, right? To talk to a person before we can actually book, because we've automated everything. And I get it that we're in a space of automation. That is the forward thinking thing to do, but you can't automate yourself out of business and out of connection with your customer. That if they do have a simple question, they can't get in contact with you while they're doing their booking their service. And then when they do book, we actually are upset because they booked the wrong thing or they didn't book enough time. But if you made yourself more available to speak with the customer before they actually book, or if you simply just set a prerequisite for the customer that can only book a consultation before they actually see you, and set a specific time frame for that consultation and a fee for that consultation, then you will be able to better serve that customer and eliminate some of the confusion that's happening when you actually are trying to solicit new clients. Because I don't think anybody came into this business to automate their way out of business and to disconnect themselves from a client base when we are actually in a service-based industry, right? So if you're in a service-based industry, why are all of your rules opposing service-based? You're no longer serving anymore. I agree that starts a relationship. To me, I'm kind of old school. Absolutely, Tasha. And we're going to get more into that conversation later on in this live. Angela says, I needed education because I knew it was more than hairstyling, and I was tired of people coming to my house looking down my kitchen sink. Absolutely. So we all got into business because we felt like there was something that we can offer people's lives that we can impact, change through beauty, through the lenses of beauty, how they see themselves, how they feel about themselves. Yet we have created situations where it disconnects us from the client because we no longer have time. I don't have time to book. I don't have time to take a phone call. I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do that. What do you have time for? Because soon you will work your way out of a client base and you will have all the time in the world, right? Ebony says, I wanted to be able to help young and older women feel beautiful on the outside by providing a whole service to them that also builds them inwardly. Absolutely. Betsy says, right, I've had people call me crying because they can't speak with their stylist. I want to touch, feel, and dialogue. We've gotten away from servitude. We've gotten away from servitude. And when you move away from servitude, that means you're moving away from seeing the value that you offer your clients or that you offer to a certain situation. And you're no longer willing to serve in that greater capacity. But we signed up to be servants when we became beauty professionals. I didn't say a slave, but a servant. And there are guidelines, but there has to be practical guidelines in the space in order for us to actually create relationships, create loyalty, create retention, create a great brand experience, right? So that's just to touch on it. But I really want to go deeper beyond the customer service. I want to get into the developmental pieces of what it is that we're lacking in the space of beauty. Continued education and skill development. That is something that I feel like is lacking tremendously because everyone feels like they've already arrived. Everybody feels like they can shortcut education. They feel like they can come into the space of social media and find something quick, or grab something off of somebody's timeline, or grab something off of YouTube and go and implement it. There is no shortcut to what it is that we do. Now, continuing education basically demonstrates a level of commitment and excellence and innovation, and it earns respect and trust from the clients to see that you actually take pride in what it is that you're doing, having your certifications on the wall, showing yourself as tried and true, investing time, money into your education, to refine your expertise, to not just learn the latest trends, but to understand what is necessary in the era of beauty that we're serving in currently, because things are not the same. I've been in this industry over 30 years. I've been in this industry over 30 years, and things are changing constantly. The biggest thing that is on, I shouldn't say on the rise, but the biggest thing that is at the forefront of our industry right now is the lack of hair that's on people's heads. And so how do you position yourself as an authority in that space to be able to respond to that kind of trauma, to respond to that kind of crisis? B says that's when folk get confident in ignorance. Ebony says we need to always remain a student to better our craft. Absolutely. And no, Betsy, like you said, it's not bragging, it's credentials. People want to come to a person who has invested in themselves, who has taken the time to hone their craft, who's taken the time to go deeper. That really is actually showing and stating that you value yourself as a professional, that you continue to take courses, regardless to if your state requires that you take CEUs every year or every 2 years or not. It shouldn't be a mandate from the state for you to go in and get the necessary education to remain at the forefront for trends, technology, and just to be at the cutting edge. We started off the conversation talking about exceptional customer service, right? But not just exceptional customer service, but personalized care. How did we move from personalization? How did we move out of that space that we don't give personalized care to the clients anymore, right? Building strong relationships with our clients is at the forefront of any business that is going to have sustainability. You got to build the relationship. You've got to build the trust factor. They got to know that they can trust you with their hair. And for a lot of us, it's not just with their hair, it's with their business and everything else that they're coming and dumping on you when they come and they sit in your chair. Danielle says, yes, when we invest in ourselves, we invest in our clients and their experience. Absolutely. The perspective needs to shift because we have gotten away from being servants. Let's see. The proof is in the service they receive. Excellent spirit. But we've gotten away from operating with an excellent spirit. It has become hustle mode. We don't operate with excellence. We don't operate from the space of value. We don't operate from the space of service. We operate from the space of how much can I get from this service and how quick can I do it and just make this money and go on about my business. What happened to the personalized care? Per your hallmark word, functional technicians. Absolutely. Yes, Denise. Functional. We have become very dysfunctional as cosmetologists. We have become very dysfunctional. Hence the reason why we are losing our influence as beauty professionals, because we're dysfunctional. And unfortunately, while it is not all cosmetologists or barbers who are dysfunctional, that small percent can represent a whole. And they can lump us all into the same category as a result of a few experiences that they've had. It becomes all of us, not just a few. And then clients start not coming into the salon. They start thinking that they can take matters into their own hands. They start wanting to buy products that are not going to yield very good results for their hair. We got a huge problem. It's a trickle-down effect. Excellence is no longer a majority. It's in the minority now. Absolutely. And so how do we reclaim that? How do we reclaim our authority and speak for the majority and not for the few that are actually dysfunctional? How do we do that? Right? And so clients need to feel valued. There's no more value that we're instilling in the clients because it's just all about schedule your appointment online. If you're not on time, we're going to charge you this. If you don't show, we're going to charge you that. And I do believe that there needs to be some type of consideration for our time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that that is a poor judgment call when you are charging for no shows and lates, but there are also ways to go about doing that. And when it's a new customer who has not built the know, like, trust factor with you yet, and the first thing they see when they go on your booking site to book is all of these don't, can't. If you do this, you do that. I'm keeping your deposits. You don't get this back. Like, that's a threat. That's a threat. And nobody wants to do business with you if they feel like that is a threat. Guidelines are necessary because when you have standards, it keeps business well. I'm not talking about those types of guidelines. I am talking about the dysfunctional stuff that's going on in this industry now. None of it is professional. None of it breeds customer care. None of it breeds customer service. None of it breeds retention. It all breeds hustle mentality, and I'm out here to get mine. And I mean, granted, I am one that prices myself for value, but I'm just going to throw this out here. I saw a reel for a little baby that probably was 9, 7, 8, 9 years old. And this woman says that she charged $700 for the silk press. $700 for a silk press on a minor because she had to detangle and do all of the things that we do. Now, granted, you come tangled and matted, there is a detangle fee because it's going to be based on how long it's going to take me to do that. But I don't think that I would get upwards $700 for a silk press. If I got to charge $700 for a silk press because I need to make my money, then that means that I need to go find other services that yield a $700 ticket, not creating an illusion that I'm offering such a fantastic service for a basic silk press that I'm going to get $700 for it. I stick to my core values, and it's not seeking a huge following in clients. I'm seeking innovative ways with those who are assigned to me. Absolutely. But I think it's ludicrous. I do believe that we need to charge our worth. I do think we need to be paid for our time. However, $700 is utterly ridiculous for a minor to get a silk press, especially when we base our theory on scalp care and how the scalp is going to secrete, sebum, and how it's going to get, hi, Healthy Hair Lala, how you doing over on Instagram? Especially when we look at the frequency of shampooing. When you look at the frequency of shampooing and you say at minimum, I always say at minimum, we should be shampooing once a week. You got some clients that shampooing bi-weekly. It depends on the level of secretions from, your scalp or whatever. But at minimum, every week, maximum every 2 weeks. So you mean to tell me if I come every 2 weeks for a silk press, I'm getting $1,400 for both of those visits? Like, who do you think you will be able to retain for that amount of money? That's unrealistic. Hey, Maxine, that is unrealistic for a silk press. You need to figure out other innovative ways to cultivate a skill set that will yield you that $700 for something that is worth that $700. And I don't care. This is my personal opinion. This is my personal opinion, and we can agree to disagree. I'm okay with that. But there is no way, as a professional stylist with over 3 decades of experience, where I see that it is okay to charge anyone $700 for a silk press. I don't believe so. Chime in. I want to hear what you think. Do you guys think that is, a proper fee, a proper charge for that service, $700 for a silk press? A detangle and a deep condition, a trim and a silk press? Do you think $700 is fair? I want to hear from y'all. Hey, Makiko. I do. I want to hear your opinions because we're all grown in here and we should all be emotionally intelligent that if we don't have the same, thought process and that we can agree to disagree, right? I think so. I think so. So I want to hear what y'all got to say. I want to hear what my tribe is saying, y'all. I want to hear y'all. We got over Russian Beauty over on Instagram and saying that's too much to charge. Healthy Hair Lala saying that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous price. Yeah. My Lord, no ma'am. All right, Philanda. Maxine, no, it's not a proper fee. Not fair. Jamie, no. Shanti, that's robbery. Tippy, no, not $700. Now I have charged $700 for a color service, though. I have charged $700 for a color service. Tiffany Wilson, only if it took all day. I would ask myself how many people could I have done in this same amount of time. Hopefully it doesn't take all day, to do that service, because you would have potentially booked other clients after that client because you didn't account for being there all day. I just don't think that it's justified. Exploitation. She is in it for all the wrong reasons. Absolutely, Meta. Yes, absolutely. Color is more longevity because I said I have charged $700 for a color service. Color, absolutely. But like you said, who is coming weekly or every two paying $700? Absolutely correct, because then that's a time management issue. Absolutely, Tiffany. If you have a client that's paying that, Janice says, if you have a client that's paying that, it's still not justified, because how many clients are you going to really do that's going to pay you $700 unless you are in the entertainment industry and you're charging those kind of service fees and things like that. It's still not justifiable. Still not justifiable. Color is a science. Absolutely right. I don't take a professional more than right. I guess I should say it don't take a professional more than an hour to detangle. Absolutely. Color and keeping the hair healthy and on the head, people should pay that price. Absolutely, for coloring. So I think that we're all agreeing. Bernita saying no, way too much. I believe so. And when we're in the entertainment industry and we're styling and we're doing different things of that nature, then of course there's going to be some different fees for services than just a regular standard shampoo and style coming in and out of the salon on a regular basis. But again, as I said, we are intelligent, emotionally intelligent adults that can agree to disagree. And, by all means, if you can get that for a silk press, then do so. But is it justified? I don't really think so. And so back to my bullets that I have on my paper. We always want to make sure that we are providing customized service, personalized care, and making sure the client feels understood. Making sure that we're cultivating a good brand experience, because our brand is not what we say it is. It's what people are experiencing as they come into our businesses, and making sure that we're cultivating a great, trusting, relaxing, pampered environment for the customer to come into. $700 for color, yes. For regular maintenance service, no, it's not justifiable. I absolutely agree with you wholeheartedly, Tippy. And so cultivating loyalty and enhancing your reputation as a beauty expert, because you want to be trusted. Yes, everyone should feel personalized. Absolutely. You want to be trusted. It's about cultivating a brand experience that breeds trust, loyalty, and longevity. Trust, loyalty, and longevity. Yes, clients pay for experience. They definitely do, which is why I'm saying that we have to cultivate that type of experience through our brand experience, through the services that we're yielding, through the environment that we're creating that is going to breed that comfortability. They feel comfortable in the space. The space feels trusting and it's clean and the professionalism is on point. There's so many things that are coupled with this loyalty and with your brand experience, right? I want to go into safety and efficacy. Safety and efficacy, because while we've talked about continued education, skill development, making sure we hone our skills, making sure we stay on the cutting edge of, the industry, making sure that our skills are fitting for the era of beauty that we are styling in now, because things change, seasons change, eras change, demands change. Are you meeting the demands of the problems that are at the forefront of your chair? Are you meeting those problems, or are you just, creating services and inflating prices to meet your lifestyle? Ooh. Are you creating services, inflating prices to meet your lifestyle that's not justifiable based on what it is that you're rendering? Because to me, that's what it is. Which is why you need to go and niche yourself down to actually be able to render a service that justifies a $700 ticket. This is why we need to make sure that we continue to hone our skill set, that we continue to stay on the cutting edge, that we continue to assess the problems that we're facing in our industry through the customers that are seeking professional services, so that we can niche ourselves down, so that we don't have to charge $700 for a press and curl or for a silk press. There are too many other solutions that you can create to meet the demands of the problems that will yield a $700 ticket, especially on a 7, 8, or 9-year-old child. And what parent paid that? And see, let me just, okay, all right. I'm just going to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead tonight, y'all. Because some of y'all be here for this Kai rant. Some of y'all be here for it. Some of y'all wish y'all could tune me out. But I'm getting ready to go on into it. Some of these consumers who are out here paying these inflated prices for these services are only trying to appeal to something that they believe is rich. Some are out here trying to appeal to something that they believe is rich. They're trying to hold an image that's robbing them. $700 for a press and curl? What do your portfolio look like? What's in your portfolio? What do you have ownership of? And you paying $700 for a silk press? What's in that pocketbook that you carrying around? That last $700 that you're gonna pay for that silk press? It's insanity, and this is why we cannot grow as a culture, because we do things out of order. Exactly, Betsy. Move by numbers instead of purpose. And they still go home dissatisfied. Yet you got some that will brag on a girl, I pay $700 for this press and curl or for this silk press. Well, you need to go get your money back. You need to go get your money back. Because at the end of the day, there is so much more that you can do to employ that $700 than to go out and let your sebum oil it out, or let the environment take it away. It just makes no sense for something that temporary. Color is something completely different, because of course you don't get color services every 2 weeks. It's something more permanent that has to grow out from your hair. It's more of a science. And if you're going to pay somebody for a color service who has actually invested in their craft and who really understands the science of coloring, then you're going to pay for that. But silk press, that's basic hair care. That's basic hair care. And I'm not trying to knock anybody for the services that they're rendering and what they're getting paid for those services, but things just got to make sense. And the math ain't mathing on that, y'all. Sorry, not sorry. The math is not mathing on it. And we do a lot of things for the gram. But did she really get paid $700 for it, or is she just doing it for the gram? Huh. We tell a whole lot of lies. We got a whole lot of highlight reels, and then we show up to people in real life. They living like peasants. And that is us in this beauty industry. We do so much for the gram, yet we're suffering silently. Test the lion. Absolutely. We suffer in silence because we want to show up big time, yet we are underdeveloped in our craft and we want to charge enormous prices for it. Underdeveloped in your craft, and you can't meet the demands of the current era of beauty. That's the question. Did she really get paid that much? Absolutely. Latasha says, yeah, these prices out here are out of pocket. Yet these young ladies are paying it just to look like they have status or in a class of people they aren't in. My clientele has fell off so bad because of the newer generation of stylists, which means, and I'm sorry to hear that for you, Latasha, but what that means is it's an opportunity for you to reset, reassess, and niche down. Assess the problems that are in your beauty community and figure out how you can cultivate the solution for the problems that are in your area. We got to niche down, baby. We got to niche down. We don't need to be widespread. Hey, Miss Peggy. Trying to be big and little still got them. Absolutely. Hey, everybody. Thank you for hanging in there with me on Instagram. And so we have to niche down. We definitely have to niche down. You said the key word niche down is scary, but it's definitely needed as we grow in the industry. Absolutely. Niching down makes you an expert in, a specific area of beauty, which means that you're going to attract. Latasha, why don't you inbox me? Let's have a conversation, sweetheart. Let's have a conversation so that, and this is only if you would like to have a conversation. Let's have a conversation so that I can help you brainstorm if you would like that kind of support. No strings attached. Just want to pick your brain, kind of stretch it a little bit to see, what you're doing, if there's anything that you might be overlooking, because sometimes we can't see the things that are right there in our faces because we're just too busy trying to do what we got to do. So send me an inbox and we can get together and I can see how I can help you brainstorm to see what's really happening. If you don't mind sharing in this space, what do you feel like your number one problem is? And what do you feel like your current niche is? And what area are you in? Current niche, number one problem, and the area that you're in. Meta says, I think $70 the client paid, just said $700 to brag, which is a lie. I don't know, Meta, what she really paid, but $700 is just ludicrous for a silk press on a child. $700 is a ludicrous on an adult. Not now, if you would have said, I got a keratin smoothing treatment and, I got some kind of haircut, whatever, then I would be saying, okay. But just to get a basic silk press and you pay $700, that's something different. But again, niching yourself down. If you are like my girlfriend Tammy used to call herself a long time ago, she used to be the blowout queen or something like that for Brazilian blowouts. And she niched herself down in that era of doing hair, which was over 10 years ago now, that she niched herself. And that was how she branded herself in the YouTube space. And they were coming in droves, coming all over just to get that Brazilian blowout from Tammy Golden. And that's a completely different thing, because that's also a specialized service. It's not just a basic silk press. Healthy hair loss specialist. Tippy, you're a healthy hair loss specialist. I'm just niche, where there's the glitch 3, there's a niche. Absolutely. There's a niche. Absolutely. This is good. And I appreciate you guys for dialoguing with me, going along with this conversation tonight. And over on Instagram, are you guys niche down? You know, where's your number one problem that you're seeing in the industry that you really need to hone expertise in? Healthy Hair Lala on Instagram says, my problem is I want to move away from the chair and teach more, niche down to hair health and educating my clients. And so when we niche down to hair health, I'm going to honestly say that hair health should not be a niche. Hair health should not be a niche, and that's not a disrespectful rebuttal. It's not meant to be disrespectful, but the reason why I say that is because healthy hair or hair care comes along with the license. It's just that there's so many of us out here that don't operate with ethics, don't operate with professional hair care techniques, that now we've had to niche ourselves as healthy hair care stylists. But that's like, it's redundant to say I'm a healthy hair care stylist. It's more of I am a cosmetologist, and that also means that I'm into healthy hair. So I would venture to say and suggest to you, Healthy Hair Lala, if you are looking to more so dive deeper into hair health, I would suggest that you become a trichologist, simply because trichologist moves away from the superficial parts that happen within the on top of the epidermis after the hair grows from the dermis. Once it protrudes the epidermis, that's what we call hair care, and that's where the retention comes into play. I would more so suggest that you dive into the science of what's happening within the dermis before the hair actually keratinizes, when the cells are proliferating, so that you can support clients with prevention from an internal perspective, as well as if you have clients that are coming in to see you with hair loss, you're able to make corrections with healthy hair recovery strategies as a result of an internal affliction, not necessarily external affliction, right? If that makes sense. And it's just a recommendation that I have, that in order to niche down and move from the chair, that service, niching down as a trichologist, will actually yield you a higher ticket. It will actually yield a higher ticket, which will reduce your work hours, your man hours that you're showing up behind the chair. And it will also give you the opportunity to work in the realm of health as a whole, not healthy hair, but healthy body that then breeds healthy hair, because the body organically grows the hair. And if the body isn't healthy, I don't care how much healthy hair care you preach, it's not the shampoo or the conditioner that's proliferating the cell. It's what's on the tip of the fork that's going to support healthy cellular production, right? So just my 2 cents, if you're willing to accept that, Healthy Hair Lala. Over on Facebook, B says, you really can't say that until you've taken yourself from the Cosmo 101. I realized that after my advice wasn't working, and that was go see a dermatologist or use yeast infection cream. Total epic fail. Absolutely. And I'm going to get into that conversation a little bit later in this broadcast. Let's see. Amen. I have so many unhealthy clients, absolutely, Gwendolyn. And if you have an unhealthy client, then there's no way that you're going to breed healthy hair, which is why trichology is the new cosmetology. Yes, I'm already about to drive into the trichologist side. I've been in 33 years and just want to move from the chair. I discuss internal with my clients more than hair health overall. I have good. Okay, so then I suggest that since you already getting ready to transition into trichology, it's no problem. I love to learn more. Thank you so much for receiving what I said. Well, so then if you already know that you're discussing internal health with your clients and stuff, shift. Your niche isn't healthy hair. Your niche is healthy client. Your niche is longevity for your clients, care and concern for their overall health and wellness. And when you shift the trajectory of their health, you shift the trajectory of their family's health. So that's a huge need and necessity in our community. Hey, Xenia, how you doing? So I would definitely say hone in on that language more as you're cultivating and building your brand so that you're set apart more than from a healthy hair care stylist, because you're not just a healthy hair care stylist. You're about overall health and wellness, and you're trying to structure healthy hair care regimens through the internal terrain of the body and not from the surface level of the hair. That is a completely different thing. I'm so ready for the 5-day class. Yes, Tarina. I cannot wait for the 5-day course either. I'm super, super excited. We are in the trenches, getting ready for that. Yeah, everything that I've been doing for the last 2 weeks is getting ready for this 5-day trichological incubator, baby. We about to set the room afire. Y'all will not leave the way you came. Y'all gonna leave that building ready to take over your community, right? Yeah, it's going down in that space. Healthy hair, Lala says, got it. So I can say it another way. Absolutely. Say it another way, sweetheart. And I'm not sure what you've currently researched on the trichological spectrum, but definitely I'm going to highly suggest that you give the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases the opportunity to share with you what we offer in the space of functional trichology, because we deal with the whole person on a holistic level, and also giving ID hair loss behind the chair the opportunity as well. We would love to have you in that space. Shanti says, I'm conflicted in what my niche is. I specialize in children's hair care, crochets, and now I'm moving into whole body health. I have a large amount of clients who are experiencing alopecia and hair loss, so I'm eager to help them. So Shanti, it sounds like your next level is calling for you, which means that you need to get to ID hair loss behind the chair so that you can learn how to properly care for the children who are experiencing hair loss, because a lot of children are going through a lot of traumatic experiences as a result of their own personal experiences at school, being bullied, a lot of fear. Some have family trauma. Some have dysfunctional generational curses that are up on them, and they don't understand what's happening with them. So there's so much to be dealt with on in the emotional space when we're dealing with young children, because a lot of them are coming up with alopecia areata, which is an autoimmune response. And we need to be able to go in and understand what's happening with them so that we can support them with cultivating better health, because the younger they are when they start experiencing, especially these types of autoimmune responses, the more they're setting themselves up to be unhealthy adults. So getting in the trenches with our clients earlier is better, and then educating the parents on what's really happening, because we think alopecia areata, I don't know what's happening. Oh, the kid is just stressed. There's trauma going on, and there's so many other questions that need to be asked in relation to that. And those are things that we teach in the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases about how the emotions, because emotions are energy. Emotions basically are molecules of destruction, molecules that can eventually cause fibrosis of, organs, tissues, cells, if we're not careful, because those things, they reside in certain body systems. Different types of emotions reside in different body systems, and they can start atrophying cells very early on. And these are things that are deriving from our subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind keeps the record, the tally on what's happening to us. Here, I've researched so much. I have been following you since Periscope. I look on your site. Thank you for your input. Yes, go to functionaltrichology.com. I'll type it in here. Go to functionaltrichology.com And that's anybody who's interested in learning more about trichology and what we can offer. Go to functionaltrichology.com and download our free report. And it'll also put you on our email list so that anything that we're doing, you can actually get wind of it first. I don't know why my little fingers are too big to type on this little screen here tonight. Y'all be patient with me while I do this. Be patient over there on Facebook while I type this in for her. There you go. What we saying, Kim, you saying best class you will take hands down? Absolutely, Kim. I believe so too. I'm the creator of it, so I'm going to be biased to, my own baby. My baby is pretty and my baby is functional, and everybody should love my baby. My baby meaning AHSD and ID hair loss behind the chair. Trichology is the new cosmetology, absolutely. What is the class that is up and coming, Gwendolyn? The class that is up and coming, we get ready to do it June 1st to the 5th. That is our 5-day trichological incubator. Can we roll the actual educators of this course on the screen so that we can see? This is the perfect time to actually show this information. So it's 5 days of 5 days of personalized care for the practitioner. Why? Because we care for everyone else. We have our Superwoman cape, our Superman cape on, but who's caring for us? It's time out. You need to take 5 days to come immerse yourself in the space to reset. We have Dr. Joy K. Madison handling our emotional well-being and practitioner advocate to support us with how we're showing up to ourselves. Because if we don't show up to ourselves right, how can we show up to anyone else? We're operating in the realm of psychology, and you take that black smock and you trade it in for a white coat, that means there's elevation. That means that you have to ascend to a new level, which means that you can no longer show up the same way with the same behaviors with the black coat. Because when we're probing our customers with the black coat on and we're doing consultations, it's for the superficial cosmetic performance. When we put that white coat on and we're probing, it's because we need to understand what's happening within the terrain of the body. We're physiology mapping so that we can get to the core. But it is a mind, body, spirit situation. But the first spirit that needs to be right is the spirit that's going to be touching the person that's afflicted. So Dr. Joy K. Madison is in the space to support us with supporting ourselves. Who do we have next? We have Miss Ivana Locklear. Ivana Locklear was invited to the space because she has a niche and an expertise in speaking about eating from a physiological perspective. And what that means is, as I was saying before, that emotions are molecules that can destroy if they are negative emotions. But they show up in so many different ways. It shows up in patterns and how we eat. And Ivana is going to be there to decode those patterns so that we can become more aware of our clients' behaviors when it comes down to eating. So this is going to be a very enlightening session that we're going to have with Miss Ivana Locklear. Who we got next? Wow, Miss Delnita Smith, life and relationship coach. I invited Delnita to the space because of her genius. She has a way with helping us cultivate how to protect our progress. Why is that necessary? Because we go to so many different events, we become hoarders of knowledge. And just because we're knowledgeable doesn't mean that we're wise, and doesn't mean that we are going to execute the knowledge. So we're all pumped up, we're motivated in the space that we're in. And then when we leave, something happens and we don't execute on the things that we just paid for, the things that are going to elevate us and take us to our highest greatness. So I invited Delnita into that space to coach us on how to protect our progress and to make sure that we maximize on our experiences and that other people can experience the things that we've experienced through us, and that we can then monetize that experience to become higher and to serve deeper. Who we have next? Miss Dania Durden. We got Miss Dania Durden, who is actually a resident educator. She is an American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases educator. And the segment that Dania teaches, she's honed this space of scalp microbiome as it relates to the gut microbiome. We are now, this is going to be our first time doing this. We are now actually certifying all of our guests, our participants. They're going to come out with a double certification. And that means that there will be a certification as a scalp microbiome specialist, which means that we've taught you about the terrain of the scalp, all the microorganisms that should live there, and all the invaders that should not live there, and why those invaders are there, and what we can do to eradicate them without disrupting the acid mantle or the pH balance of the hair, so that the scalp and hair can thrive and the internal terrain of the body can thrive. So you will leave as a hair loss first responder and a scalp microbiome specialist. So I'm excited to see that unfold. We got Miss Jessica Davis in the building, double certified trichologist, who's coming to us as a certified trichologist and Sisterlocks educator. She is going to be speaking to us and educating us from a natural perspective, with the trichological lens that deals with locks, because the locks, you know, for some it's a trend and others it's a lifestyle, depending on how spiritually connected they are to their locks. There's so much that goes into that it is a fabric of hair that has to be handled differently from other hair fibers. And so we invited Jessica Davis in for her expertise in lock specialization. And she's going to be training us on how to approach locks, who should have them, who shouldn't have them, what techniques they should get. If it's time to cut them off, what do we do? This is what Jessica's going to be bringing to the table. And she is so well versed in this subject. This is her niche. This is her jam. And I get so excited when I see her come to the stage, because the students just fall in love with her and they don't want her to leave the stage. So who we got next? We got Miss Micheline Barber in the house, the visionary of the Impulse Summit, coming to us. And she's going to be talking about pruning and pouring and understanding your seasons in life and how to move and maneuver. Again, that aligns with protecting your progress. It aligns with, understanding who you are, understanding how to connect to yourself. Those are the foundational principles that we must start with before we niche down any service, before we hone any skill set, before we ask for more money. We have to make sure that we are in alignment with self, with the Most High, and we understand the season that we're in. And Mitch is going to bring the business to us when she opens up with this. So I'm super excited to hear her presentation and how she's going to empower the guests with her insight. We got Mr. Chris Bond on branding and marketing. And I invited Chris to the space because Chris actually is a specialist who has niched down his expertise into the space of beauty. And he specializes in bringing beauty brands to life. And I wanted him to come and share his expertise with you as you take on a new skill set, to know how to create that digital footprint, to know how to move and to position yourself for greatness as you monetize the newly acquired skill set, and let people know who you are, because we can't do anything if we're the best kept secret, right? Marsha Mayfield. Now listen, you're going to get this newly acquired skill set. You're going to learn how to make six figures with this newly acquired skill set, but learning how to make money isn't enough. Making money is easy. Maintaining and keeping money and employing your dollars is what the difficult pieces are. So she's going to teach us about making that money, banking that money, not just acting like a boss, but actually being a boss when you look at your bank account, and teaching you about the documents that you need to be the beauty boss or the beauty CEO of your beauty business and everything that you're cultivating. And then, of course, you got Kai Smith, yours truly. I am the founder, the facilitator, and I will be executing the majority of the trichological knowledge that's in the building. I'm super excited about this. I pour out everything. My intention is to leave empty and to have you feeling like you owe me money by the time we finish serving you in this space. So listen, if you didn't get a ticket this time, because enrollment is closed for June 1st through the 5th, we are open for enrollment for October 19th through the 23rd. Enrollment is open. You can put yourself on a 4-pay right now. So I advise you to lock it in, because we're going to do it all again. And it is the last call, October 19th through the 23rd. So you don't want to miss it. You want to set yourself up for 2025, right? So why not set yourself up by becoming a hair loss first responder and a scalp microbiome specialist, which is going to set you apart from the rest of what's happening in this beauty industry. I want to take an opportunity right now to go to a commercial break real quick, and we will be right back. So share this out and don't leave us, because we're coming right back. And over on Instagram, just give me a minute. I'm going to go silent for a minute while we take a commercial break. We can still be wise, but also still need connection with other people. So what I need is to see that I have plugged in to each one of you in this space, because that allows me to understand that I am on purpose. And I don't need the validation from you, but to see the transformation in you gives me that validation from God, that I am now using that wisdom that the enemy tried to make be an untruth, to believe in myself, to bet on myself, and to put on things like this to extend myself to people like you, so that you too can be wise and be great in your spiritual genius. I'm wisdom. All right. That was a quick commercial break. Quick commercial break tonight. So listen, y'all, let's dive back into what's been going on over here. Let's see, what are y'all saying over here on Facebook? Joy K. Madison is a gem. She cared for your souls here on earth. Absolutely. Kim says, telling Ebony happy birthday. Jessica is a naturalista, authentically and beautifully you. Embrace it. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. So listen, let's hop back into the content that I have prepared for us tonight. Let's talk about safety and efficacy. Safety and efficacy are, that's a basic standard. That's foundation. That's professionalism. That's caring for the client. And so when we start talking about safety and efficacy, underneath that falls professional products. I can't tell you how many times I've seen on my timeline people using Palmolive to release the oil from the hair. Like, what pH balance is that? How have you just altered the hair fiber? What's this not removing what you wanted to remove from the scalp, right? So using this dish liquid and so many other things that we're using that are deemed as unprofessional. I'm a stickler on making sure that I always offer my clients products that cannot be purchased over the counter, that they're not privy to just walking into the store purchasing. I always made sure that I offer something that couldn't just be purchased anywhere, because I pride myself on educating the customer, because customer education is personalized care. I've always prided myself on making sure that my clients knew how to protect their investment, because coming to see me and paying for a service is an investment. And I want to make sure that, because I would only do their hair once, twice, or 3 or 4 times a month, they're going to do their hair the other 26 days, 27 days, 25 days of the month, right? So if I don't teach them how to protect their investment, then it's a vicious cycle. It's a jerking chain. Every time they come into me, they're starting over, because I never taught them how to protect their investment. And I'm not going to tell them to go down the street to the beauty supply and to go buy something, because the clerk down there only knows what the rep has told them that they purchased products for. They don't understand what type of texture this client has. They don't understand what type of curl pattern this client has. They don't understand the pre-existing conditions that's going on this client's hair or scalp. Yet they're going to sell them something based on the knowledge they have from a sales rep. So why would I put my client or entrust my client in the hands of the beauty store clerk. That's a no-no. So using professional products, educating the customer, and retailing is another stream of income, but it's a sure way to protect the customer's investment, right? And when we look at that, when we use professional products, we understand that if we vetted the company, we understand the testing that these products have gone through. We should understand the pH balance. And if the pH balance isn't on the bottle, like it typically isn't, then get a device that's going to tell you the pH balance of the product. Make sure you understand what you're using on your client's hair. We have to be on the same page. Absolutely, Lauren. By using professional grade products, as beauty professionals, we're demonstrating, again, the commitment to quality, excellence, and client satisfaction. Y'all heard what I said? But I know ain't nobody over here doing none of this stuff that I'm talking about, right? All of you guys are professionals. You operate with care and concern. You operate with professional products. You're not doing hairstyles using chemicals, using heat and all these different things on your clients that have hair loss that's exacerbating the situation, right? You guys are doing all the right things, right? Using over-the-counter products or unprofessional products may yield a subpar result, right? So what if they have an emergency, or what if their hair gets rained on, or what if they go to the gym and sweat it out, or, what if they go out to the club and party and sweat it out unexpectedly and the hairstyle doesn't last as long and they don't have what they need to maintain what you've done? A subpar shampoo and conditioner off pH is going to screw up the cuticle of that hair. Now, when they come back, you wondering what happened because they look inflammable. Cuticle wide open, hair don't feel right, might be brittle, dry, it might be breaking. Anything is possible. Anything could be happening, but that's your fault because you didn't go the extra mile to personalize the care to ensure that they actually were able to take care of their hair after they left you. But this is what personalized service is. This is what building the know, like, trust factor is. This is what creating a brand, a specialized niche down brand experience is. Hey, D, I miss you too, girl. It's good to see your name on the live tonight. So at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to understand how to meet the needs of the customer instead of creating so many guidelines that separates us from the customer's experience. Yet we want to say that we got a good brand experience, or we're on social media boasting about these foolish guidelines that we've created, or charging $700 for a silk press, right? So I want to go into my hot topic for the evening. Let's go into the hot topic, set the tone for that, and let's have a discussion. I'm going to need you guys to dialogue with me on this. This isn't something that is new, but it's something that has resurfaced, and it's something that I want to talk about again. I've talked about this maybe about 10 years ago on my timeline before, but I feel like I need to readdress it. So let's go into that hot topic.
Houston, we have a problem.
Now, play that one more time. Listen, did y'all see that? This is not new. It's not new, but I'm just seeing it again coming back on my timeline. There were so many people that used to do this. I thought it was a trend or foolishness that actually went away, but I see it's resurfaced like the French roll, right? It's resurfaced like the French roll. So, trends come and they go, but this is a trend that I wish would stay gone. Monistat 7. Monistat 7. Y'all ready to talk about it? Monostat 7, main ingredient, miconazole, 2% miconazole nitrate. What is that? It kills yeast cells. But why would we want to put Monostat 7? Why would I want to put a vaginal cream on my scalp? Why would I ever feel like that if my hairstylist came to me and said, put this vaginal cream on your scalp? Would I feel like that's a viable solution? Why would I would then feel like I've chosen the wrong professional if your last resort is that you want me to put coochie cream on my scalp? Yeah. Why would I feel like that's a viable solution as a professional? It's not. It's not. There's so many other options for us than to use Monostat 7 on the scalp. Monostat 7 also has a petroleum in it that can, cause buildup. Because again, I'm sure that she may not be using the proper exfoliant to remove all of the residue from the scalp, right? And we know that there's an overactive production of sebum coming from this person's scalp if they have this type of scalp disorder, which is seborrheic dermatitis, right? Yeah, they still doing it. We back here again, Lauren. Tippy says, no, they still doing this, including using turmeric yeast infection creams. We got to do better. We've got to do better. Wow, I have never seen or heard that before. Absolutely, Russian Beauty, they're doing it. And this makes absolutely no sense. This cream is for the vagina, not for the scalp, even though it's yeast that's coming out of the scalp. Why is it coming out of the scalp? Because the scalp, the gut microbiome is off. The gut microbiome is impaired. Gut dysbiosis potentially happening there, lowered immunity potentially happening there. When there's lowered immunity, then that means that the microbes that are on the skin are impaired also. It means that the immunity is lowered. Our skin is an excretory system. Our skin is a part of the integumentary system, which operates as a covering for all of the inner workings of the body. Right? And so if the skin's immunity or immune function is impaired, we have overabundance of sebaceous materials being excreted from the follicles, which is nothing but a lot of fat, right? Fat being excreted. Fat, the Malassezia microbes on the scalp loves to feast and eat on fat, which is then going to produce a byproduct, which is then going to produce the irritation, which is why she's putting the Monostat on the scalp, because of the miconazole nitrate that is going to eat up the yeast cells. But why not just use ketoconazole? Why not just use, some type of shampoo that's going to support with eradicating the yeast from the epidermal level? But essentially what should be happening, instead of using Monostat 7, is she should be having a conversation with her client about her lifestyle, about her gut function, about her immune function, about her hygiene, about so many other things, so that she can give her the internal support that she needs. But these are the things that are begging for our attention behind the chair. Yet we want to continue to lean on Monostat 7 or a ketoconazole shampoo that ends up drying the hair fibers out. And then we want to use oil to try to re-moisturize the hair fibers, or we want to go back and put in a humectant on top of the skin and the hair fiber, working against ourselves. There's so many wrong steps that are taken behind the chair when it comes to trying to manage scalp disorders before we even get to a Monostat 7. And Monostat 7 is just wrong on so many levels. But before we even get to the Monistat 7, hairstylists and barbers are not proficient in how to really manage these types of conditions. And we can't lean on the back bar to give us the support for these types of conditions. And this is why it is essential to get in courses that are teaching you about the correlation between the scalp and the gut microbiome, because the gut microbiome is going to always tell the skin what to do. It's going to always tell the skin what to do, because our skin acts as an excretory system, especially when our detoxification pathways are clogged. So your exfoliant, your antimicrobial, antibacterial shampoos are like giving a tic tac to a well when the gut terrain is off. So it's time to elevate. It's time to educate yourself so that not only are you empowered, but your client is empowered to move into a healthier state. It's time out for ignorance and not doing things because you didn't know better, or trying things because you're just lazy and you don't want to take the time out to nurture and cultivate your skill set. We've got to do better. These clients, they're not saying anything with their mouths, but their physiological symptoms are screaming for help. And you're sitting by watching them just ultimately die on a cellular level. And I said it the other day with my trichology students that the ultimate self-care is on a cellular level. The ultimate self-care is on a cellular level. Tippy says it's time for me to learn more in-person training. Absolutely, Tippy. We invite you into the ID space. It's very enlightening. It's very transformative. You will leave with so much knowledge and empowered to go out and educate your entire community on how to be healthier from the chair. I went a week with yellow nails because a client listened to TikTok to use turmeric and yeast infection cream in her hair to treat dandruff. So she said, mind you, she didn't tell me this until after multiple shampoos and wondering if I was tripping. Yeah, these clients are out here taking matters into their own hands, but they're taking matters into their own hands because they're losing confidence in who we are as the expert. Because bad news travels quick. And they got friends that have had bad experiences, even if it's not their own personal experience. They have friends who've had bad experiences and friends who have taken matters into their own hands. So we're in a space and time where they would rather listen to their friend who lacks the expertise, who lacks the knowledge, than to listen to a beauty professional who has gone the distance with the training. So this is why we've got to learn how to reclaim our authority, which is what this whole broadcast is about. How you're showing up in your beauty business, how you're showing up for yourself, because essentially how you show up for you is how you're going to show up for anything, right? And so it is time out for leaning on the back bar. It's time out for leaning on your logic. And it's time for you to elevate, come into a space that has been created with you in mind for 5 days to just get the introduction into what this trichological life looks like. Leverage the power of trichology, because trichology is saving lives. Trichology shifts your lenses to be able to see beyond what the naked eye can see. Trichology breeds prevention. Trichology breeds recovery, because really, honestly, the only way that you will eradicate hair loss is through prevention. It's through prevention. Some of your clients who have psoriasis on their scalp, hey, Mitch, some of your clients who have psoriasis on their scalp and who have seborrheic dermatitis on their scalp, they are having some severe issues going on. It's not just a scalp disorder. There's so many other issues that are happening with them if they only knew. But if you had the trichological state of mind, you would be able to enlighten them. People are dying early because they're ignoring symptoms. People are dying early because they're taking medications that silences the body's sound, the symptoms. It puts it on mute. Lauren, too many stylists not properly equipped with the right information. That's why clients and consumers have turned to TikTok and YouTube. Absolutely. They would rather watch a TikTok video and get a highlight reel than to come and sit and get immersed in the elevated experience that you have as the professional. But I fault us for that, because we don't take education seriously. So many of us that are operating behind the chair say trichology is not for me. I don't want to be a trichologist. You may not want to be, but your clients need you to be. And if you're in this business for the long haul and you're in this business to serve, then it's not about what you desire. If you're going to be in this business, there is a higher demand on who you are called to be in this space. So if the client's problem is not being met with your solution because you decided that trichology ain't your jam, then what you basically saying is you desire for the client to go sit in somebody else's chair, because 40% of the people are currently losing hair. That's a statistic. Statistics are known facts. What about the statistics that are unknown yet? They turn to the streets. Absolutely. What about the statistics that are unknown yet? We can only call it a statistic when we know about it. But because as a cosmetologist or a barber, we're typically not using the tools that will allow us to see the hair loss sooner, quicker, faster, or to identify the hair loss sooner, quicker, faster, then yeah, the customer ends up losing 50% of their hair before they know that they actually have loss or thinning. But because we don't understand how to identify it, because we can't, a lot of types of hair loss, you can't even recognize it with the naked eye until you've lost 50% of your hair. What do those characteristics look like? Not just regular clients. There are stylists out here losing hair and confide in other stylists to help. Absolutely. But here's the thing. I teach hairstylists all day. It's what I do for a living, is I educate hairstylists for their next level in trichology. And some hairstylists are thinking like the customer, and they're still connected to the hair actually being the problem. And the hair isn't the problem. It's not the hair, it's the body. And so if you keep only trying to address it as though it's the hair, then you're going to always have a problem, because you've never corrected the problem. And the problem is in the body. The hair is just an effect. The cause is in the physiology. And if you don't understand how the physiology map, there's no way you're going to find it. And then you're going to rely on allopathic care to then prescribe your client some type of prescription that is going to silence the body's communicator. It's going to give them the illusion that they are well, but yet the communication has been muted. So they think they're better because the body is now simulating a function via the medications. And now they have other vitamin mineral deficiencies and other issues going on that will soon manifest, and nothing is in sync. The body is out of homeostasis. The body is acidic, yet you're struggling and leaning on your shampoo and conditioner, trying to retain the hair that is growing out, or trying to camouflage hairs that are growing out thinner and thinner and thinner. Yet you have no answers, but you're leaning on your logic. Like that is career suicide. Not going and getting trichological knowledge is voluntarily committing career suicide. Is that what your intention is to commit career suicide? It is, if you're not taking trichology. I've experienced clients who I found lesions, and they didn't lesions, and they didn't notice it. Also, one customer who was receiving too many blood transfusions and losing hair, I gave her my options. Something is feeling off of her blood. She went to the doctor. She had colon cancer. It just made sense to me. Now she is cured of colon cancer. Absolutely. Trichology is saving lives. Gwendolyn, I'm not sure what capacity you operate in, on what level of a hair loss specialist you operate in, but kudos to you for understanding that something was off with your client, and she was being transfused, yet, still having difficulty retaining the blood. But there's so many different things going on, and we look at inflammation as diagnoses. I don't care if if you're being diagnosed with arthritis. I don't care if you're being diagnosed with hypertension, diabetes. At the end of the day, it is all inflammation, and the diagnosis is just a fancy term that they gave inflammation. And we've got to understand that, where there's no oxygen, there's inflammation. And where there's inflammation, there's no life. And where there's inflammation, the DNA is being coded with mutation. And that's where the symptoms of illness are going to come in, and diagnosis will come in, and hair loss and hair thinning will come in. I don't care how much hair care you know about. If you don't understand what's happening in that dermis as it correlates with physiology, then Houston, we got a problem. And that is the primary reason why you need to be in this 5-day trichological incubator, so that you can instill hope in your community. You can actually increase longevity, and you can serve on a deeper level, because these clients are coming in sicker and sicker and sicker at the end of the day. Yeah, they're coming in sicker and sicker. Let's go into the last point that I want to make for the night. And that is professionalism and reputation. And we kind of highlighted that throughout the night. As trusted authorities in our field, our clients rely on our expertise and recommendations to achieve desired goals, right? Desired goals. And if we're unable to support them with the desired goal, then what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing but serving ourselves? And I'm not interested in serving myself. I'm interested in showing up, being of service, pouring out what God has given me, because trichology is a gifting. Trichology is a whole other level of servitude. And it is so gratifying when you can make connections with these customers as it relates to their hair, and you're helping them live longer. You're helping them feel free. You're freeing them of all the inflammation that's going on in their body. You're empowering them. You're operating as a liaison between them and their doctor. Like, it's everything, you guys. At the end of the day, it's everything. Who doesn't want to be that? Who doesn't want to be that? And lastly, subpar practices undermine professionalism and credibility for the beauty professional. And it erodes clients' trust, and over time, their loyalty, and they just end up leaving. And I'm going to say this, that at the end of the day, if a client is losing hair and it's thinning, they can see it, but there's no resolution in your chair. And possibly they had some thinning going on before they actually even started coming to you, and you didn't know it. And you're applying chemicals, or you're applying improper heat, or you're doing things that you really shouldn't be doing, because it's exacerbating the situation. You have now become a part of the problem, even if you didn't know that this hair loss occurred, because ignorance is no longer justification for why you did a thing, especially as it relates to hair, because it is your duty to remain at the forefront and on the cutting edge of what's happening in the beauty industry. And now trichology is a thing, and these tools are available to you. And there's ways for you to know if a customer's hair is miniaturizing and they should no longer get a relaxer, or they should no longer get color, or they have erythema on their scalp and now they have a short cut, but you keep putting them under the dryer to dry their hair, and you're exacerbating the inflammation within the dermis, and you're still relaxing around, the thinning hairs, or whatever the situation may be, and you're contributing to the problem. You are a part of that problem. And ignorance is no longer a reason why it's okay for you to do that, because trichology is your answer. coming to at least understand what you're seeing under the scope so that you can better service the customer, because they're trusting you with all of their hair care needs. And that means keeping their hair on their head, even if it is their body that's causing it to leave their head. You should be able to at least tell them that. And if you choose that you don't want to go any further with trichology, you should at least be connected to another trichologist that can support them so that you could at least triage the customer and you would know how to support them for hairstyling at the very least. Listen, I have poured out in this space. I'm imploring you to get some type of trichological support so that you don't commit career suicide, because it's happening whether you want it to or not. You can be intentional about positioning yourself to win, or you can be unintentional about positioning yourself to lose. It's up to you. It's your choice. It's your call. But I want to see you win, which is why I come here consistently and have conversations with you about how to win. If this message makes you uncomfortable, you're in a good place. As I demented the same, the spirit is calling you. No way you would have endured this live. Move forward. Absolutely, Betsy. Absolutely. So I'm inviting you. This is your personal invitation. I'm inviting you into the 5-day space and ultimately into the 18-month course, because that is the destination. It's for you to become functionally certified to do what it is that you do to save the lives of the people that you touch. It's on a whole deeper level, baby. It's not just about styling hair. It's about saving lives in the space of beauty, emotionally and physically, because we are dying emotionally as a people and we are dying physically as a people. And now we are called to a higher standard as beauty professionals who stand on the front line. And I am your girl, Kai Smith, your hair loss advocate, the founder of the American Academy of Hair and Scalp Diseases, here to be the interceptor, here to get you in a space to win, here to remove you from being a part of the problem. This is your invitation. This is your invitation. I'm holding you accountable. It's time for you to make a move. You've been on the fence for too long. You know you need it, but you're scared. But scared is right where you need to be. Do it, teeth chattering, knees knocking. Just make a move. Just make a move. As they always used to say when I was growing up, scared money don't make money. But stop committing career suicide by being on the fence. Your client's hair is leaving on your watch and they're dying on your watch slowly. This field is full of laborers, are few. Your community is waiting on you to say yes, absolutely. The time is now. I feel like I'm making an altar call. The time is now. It's your choice though. But meet us in Houston, Texas, October 19th through the 23rd. 5 days of education, empowerment, and elevation. You will not be the same. I promise you that. So listen, we're getting ready to get on out of here. We appreciate you for staying with us. We've been on here an hour and a half tonight. I'll be back again live next Tuesday as we get prepared for this 5-day trichological incubator. Gonna start next week. I'm excited. I'm downloading. I can't wait to connect with the people in person that have chosen to be in the space with me, who have trusted that I have something to offer them for their next level to support and serve the people that they touch on a deeper level. I'm honored to be in that space. I'm honored to have the educators who have said yes to come and share their genius on the platform also. That excites me. I'm humbled by it. And I can't wait to see what God is going to download in that space, because something fire is waiting. There has been a shift. There is going to be an outpouring in that space, and people will never be the same as a result of their yes. All right. So you guys be good to yourself. I'll see you next Tuesday. If you got questions for me, hit me up in the inbox. I'll talk back. But I'll see you guys next time. Be good to yourselves. Good night.
Hair loss had been going on in my family, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I done made it to the point, like, that's it. I don't know what else. And not understanding that physiological map. Mm-hmm. This has been, growth. And I like the fact that you're fierce and you don't waver, and you're just, like you say, black or white, there's no gray. And I like that. And you just be stretching. I'm like, man, that road band is going to come back. Is it going but it comes back, though. Yeah, it comes back. It comes back. You have given so much. Like, no, you just don't know. This is good. Man. Yes. And I like the fact that you don't allow everybody in. I just feel like I'm just exclusive. Like, because you are. Man, yeah. Right. Yeah. And I'm glad you're obedient. You follow the spirit. And if he say go, you go. If he say stop, you stop. And I'm like that. And you make everybody feel important. It's like Mama Kyla. So I really appreciate you.
And I appreciate you too, because you trust me enough to open up to allow the work that God has for me to do, for that work to take root in you. So we're partners, because I can't do it without you. I gotta have people to transform, so thank you.